She Time, your conscious living show with me, Clara Apollo, here on UK Health Radio and on our YouTube channel. I've got Katie Brockhurst with me. She's going to be talking about social media, heaven and hell, and how we can stay sane in the world that seems to be ever evolving. Now, Katie, you've got a new book out, haven't you?
I do.
You do.
Indeed, yes. Social media for a new age.
Yes, social media's got a new age. So this is really taking us from the now moment forwards, but also helping to dispel myths around it and prevent social media meltdown. And now you've got a whole back catalogue of experience here. You know, you've been working as social media consultant for Hay House UK, and you've also got history in broadcasting, and you know, there's such a wealth of information in your book, which I wish I could flash at the screen, but don't actually have a copy of it yet. But we've got things like this printed off, which is the Age of Social Media, Chapter 5, which has really flashed something here anyway. And this cute little funky hot angel at the bottom there. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So I think we'll just start at the beginning with when you were working for the music industry, and you were obviously having to do the connecting, you know, getting people to know what was going on, and it was like back in the old days, was it just email and flyers and posters or what?
Yeah, absolutely. Emails, flyers, posters, but also broadcast. So getting on the radio, getting on a radio playlist in my world was the pinnacle of people being able to find out who you were. Yeah. And obviously that was very gated. You had to get on to these radio stations, which was a harder process than we have in this day and age, with being able to access the audience directly through social media, through the internet.
So do you think this is one of the key differences now, is that it's the accessibility, there's that ease, you know, it's just been incredible, hasn't it? You've watched it, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it really, when I was working in the music industry, it was sort of 2004, 2005. And the main platforms were just, I think sort of MySpace was 2006 that really started to become a big deal. And it wasn't until 2007 that Facebook and Twitter really kind of came into their own. And I think Instagram wasn't until 2011 off the top of my head. So, you know, they're very recent, really. It's just in the past decade.
Yeah, but we've all got used to this as being part of our lives. I say all, most of us have. There's still some people that say, oh, I'm not going to be on Facebook, I'm not going to go in, I'm not going to dip my toe in the water. And I must say that it was my son who sort of said, oh, for goodness sake, Mum, you'll love it. You'll really love the way of like connecting with your friends, and you'll be able to also catch up with all my photos instead of me having to send them to you on email. So that could have need and wish to be part of community is kind of what got me into it first. And for you, was it business, or were you using it socially as well?
Well, I think I was always fascinated by social media. As you've read in the book, I actually set up a social network with a group of friends when I was at university, but we were far too early because we were still on dial-up and everything. So really it was about, how do we stay in touch with each other? How do we stay connected to each other? Because the concept behind that was we were all graduating from university and we were all about to scatter across the country, and we saw that you know, the internet was a tool to be able to help us stay connected. So that was always a first port of call, and I think that was the same for me with MySpace. It was amazing that we could share information with each other through these profiles, through blogging, through photographs. You know, I just thought it was such an awesome thing to be able to do. So when I was looking after radio DJs, and one of my DJs lost their show on Kiss FM, I was like, let's use MySpace and make your radio show and put it out through that as a way to stay connected to an audience. You know, as not needing the radio station in quite, you know, we still needed a radio station, but we still wanted to reach the audience. So that was how I always saw it. It was like, how can we use this as a tool for publishing, sharing, and connecting?
Oh, yeah, no, I really can feel that. And from reading the book here, that is the overarching feeling, is it's about connective community, and you using the word what was it? Connection and unity. Oh no, communication and unity. Sorry, and I love that. You know, and that's what's really underpinning it. Really, is our wish to stay in touch with one another. And so, where does the stress come in then? And why are people getting really boggled with how on earth they can, like, do the right thing or keep up with? You know, there's a lot of stress around the use of social media. You know, how do you think that happens?
Yeah. I think it's become layered on. I think it's been made to feel complicated for a start. There's all this, use my secret formula and you can build. And I think, so building an audience, we've kind of got obsessed and our egos have got very hooked into, I need X amount of likes, I need X amount of views, you know, I need to be seen to be this. I'll only be successful if I've got 100,000 followers, and that's perpetuated then by the industry itself, both the social media industry, because they want our advertising dollars, and also by the marketing industry, who want to sell you how to market on social media. You know, you can fill your email list in 5 minutes. Look at me, I've got a Facebook group and I'm making millions. And so all of that, and then we're getting that messaging at us, and then people are also, you know, again, human nature, whether it's friends and family, colleagues, it's like, oh, look at me having this amazing life. And so we're comparing ourselves to that. So there's like tons of these layers of stress that have just layered on top of each other, that have made us feel really, really overwhelmed by the whole experience. And I think that's built up over years. And now we're experiencing the burnout. So it's built up and it's built up and it's built up. And so, yeah, now we're like, help.
Exactly. Burnout and backlash. Get me out of here, you know. But so you talk about social media ego versus social media soul. And this is where it starts to really bring it back into the truth of the heart of the matter, and helps to make sense again of why we're doing it.
Yeah, well, for me, like the ego, that's the part of us that needs the 10,000 followers or wants as many followers as somebody else that we compare ourselves to, or, you know, is hooked on the likes and the views, and is less about the impact and is more about that side. And again, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, other than it's kind of how we've been trained to be. So when I talk about the social media soul, it's actually putting a lot more value on, you know, did one of my friends or my clients or my colleagues read that and it made a difference to them today? It made things better for them. It helped them figure something out, you know, and that is placing more value on that than did it get 25,000 likes.
Really? Exactly. I mean, I know that feeling, because it links into the whole brain dopamine response, doesn't it? That feeling of wanting to be approved of, which is big for so many of us in this culture. You know, it's kind of dangerous, slippery slope, but if you kind of can step back from it. I think, you know, I talk to even my family stuff and I'll be chatting to them. I said, oh, kind of, do you even look at my Facebook stuff? You know, they go, yeah, that's how we know what you're doing. I said, well, I have no idea. And they said, oh, there's loads of people, or loads of my friends that, you know, to have a look at what's going on people's feeds and everything and make absolutely no comments. So, you know, you don't know who you're reaching. And as you say, if it's just a value to share something that's going to make a difference in a positive way to somebody else's life, you trust that goes out and ripples to where it needs to go. And how many likes you get, whatevs.
Yes,
you know.
But I mean, I have to take that as a practice myself, because there's definitely been times when maybe I've been a little bit vulnerable around something, or I've shared something that I'm really proud of, and then it's a bit like tumbleweed.
I know, you think, I
I'm
love
like,
it.
oh, should I delete it? Should I change it? Did nobody like it? And I have to, take some breaths and go back and go, did I feel good about that? Yes, I did. Okay, then let that do it.
Exactly. It do its thing. And also, I think we can bring up the A word now, the algorithms, which like confuse all of us, but you explain it so well. I get it now, I think. For today, it might all change, but no, just, if a brief overview as to that the algorithms are here to help us, and who knew? We thought they were the enemy, but could you explain a bit about how they are actually wired up to now assist what it is?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. So the first thing that I always talk about is these 3 words: personal, subjective, and unique. So this is what the algorithm, the Facebook in particular, the Facebook Instagram algorithm is built with, that as its core principles. It wants to get the posts that matter most to the people that they matter most to. That's like their strap line for the algorithm. And so what it does is, because it's literally processing like millions, I'd say millions of bits of data on a moment by moment basis, if you think about the billions of people using Facebook and Instagram. So its job, an algorithm, is a piece of software, is a piece of code that is programmed to solve a problem. And the problems are many for Facebook, but the main problems that they want the algorithm to solve is, how do they get the posts, that matter most to the people that they matter most to. So always keeping that in mind. And then it works that out based on your own interaction with the platform and with people and with content. So if I'm following you, say, Clara, on Facebook, and you post something and I like it, it goes, Katie's following Clara and she likes that post. So next time Clara posts something similar, and so it even knows whether you like video more or pictures more or text more. So it's personalized, subjective, and unique. It's learning from you all the time. It goes, okay, so next time she posts something like that, we'll post that a little bit higher up her timeline for her to see when she logs on to Facebook. Now, if I like everything you post, it'll start going, oh, well, she really likes Clara. So every time Clara posts, we're going to put that right at the top. But actually, Bob from number 69, she's not that bothered about what he's posting. So we're going to push that a little bit further down. And it's constantly updating in real time, so that you're constantly having this personalized experience of the content led by what you're doing with your little finger button on the app.
Your choices to actually engage. It wants you to engage because then it knows what you want to see. I mean, this is not rocket science. I was reading it going, that makes absolute sense. That's really quite clever, actually, isn't it? And to get the artificial intelligence to work alongside us. But just backing up a little bit, you talking about I just peeked off about the problems with the Cambridge Analytica scandal and the ripples that kind of threw right the way through the system. Everything seemed to shift after that, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I still think they're learning. I'm still not sure how honest they're being with us about certain things. But the algorithm now is also trying to spot what fake news is. It's trying to spot certain things. But with the Cambridge Analytica in particular, what that did was they managed to find a back door into Facebook. And basically, they say the word is harvest. They just extracted all the data that Facebook had gathered on everybody and just had that independently, and then we're using that independently to then feed back in to target us with what they call, I think it was like psychoanalytical something.
God, that doesn't sound scary at all, does it? Whoa. But yeah, it really put the fear up, but it was good. It needed to be brushed brushed down or cleared out and made, you know, if we're talking about authenticity and transparency moving forwards here, getting rid of the fake news, you know, coming into that inner compass of discernment, which you refer to as your inner unicorn, which is just lovely. At the end of each section of the books, there's like points to your inner unicorn to sort of consider. But it is that, isn't it? It's that personal discernment. Does this feel right? And this is something that you refer to time and again in this book. How does it feel for you? What are your senses telling you? And this is building that relationship with your truth, with your
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we get so caught up. What I've noticed when I'm working with clients is they're, you know, this certain kind of person in their life where they are in control and they do make choices and they're very aware of their emotions and sensitivities. But then they get onto social media and all of that stuff goes out of the window because either they haven't got the confidence with the technology, so then it almost like doesn't compute that we can be that same spiritual, emotional, sensitive being in relationship with our social media. It's almost like a wall comes up or a shutter that makes them feel quite decompartmentalized. And what I'm trying to say is, how can we bring that? Because we are straddling the digital world and the physical world all the time now. So bringing those things in when we're in relationship with social media or in relationship with digital, that can only benefit us moving forward.
Yeah, really. And that the energy behind everything, like you said, we've got these digital connections, but there's also the energetics, the chi behind it all, you know.
Yes.
And we're getting more and more aware of that energy language of something when it feels right or doesn't feel right. So we're sniffing out stuff that just, and it's trusting yourself, isn't it? It's trusting. And like you say, being able to be your true self. And there's something else that you were mentioning, just have conversations. It's like this, you know, I've been aware of you for about over a year now, had a great conversation with you when we first met, and then you did the book. I thought, I just still want to talk to you about this. And then you're talking about, it's all about conversations, real conversations, real people, because I'm genuinely interested, you know. And that is the key, isn't it, to us sharing conversations, not just information.
Yes. And actually, interestingly, there have been some stats recently that show we actually much prefer listening and watching people in conversation than we do just somebody just talking at us when it's digital media, which I think is lovely too. You know, we much more enjoy watching a conversation and being part of that.
Well, quite, which is what part of what Chi Time is about here. But you know, you have a podcast channel too, don't you?
Yes, yeah, conversations on social media for a new age.
Yeah, excellent. So you're continuing on your broadcast thread through what it is you're doing here.
Yeah, I love that part of it. It's a really it's enjoyable to do that too.
Good. Well, we'll put some links out to all of that. So as we move forward into this social media for a new age, might I just read out, this is chapter 6. Katie does these lovely little poems. They should be put to music or some rhythm or something. I'm really feeling them. They're great. So this one, have you got it? Do you want to read it or shall I read it?
I don't mind. Yeah, I can read it. I've got a copy of the book actually, just on the
Flash
shelf.
us a copy of the book, Katie. Do.
Let me.
Yeah, where is it? Somewhere. Oh, great! Look, yay!
Here we go.
Okay, could we have have that poem, please?
Chapter 6.
Yeah.
Great. Social media for a new age. If light is information and we're in the age of information, then we're also in the age of light. If love is light, then love is information, which means we are in the age of love. If social media is a place for us to share information, it is a place for us to share our light and our love. When we share our information, light and love, creatively and consciously, we connect with and create our community.
I love that. Thank you. I really enjoyed soaking up your words there. Listeners will too. So the overall feeling is exactly that. To be in your truth, in your love, with the light coming through for the new age, the age of Aquarius, the age of the golden age. We are all creating this now, and how we run all our interactions with everybody everywhere. From the milkman, if you get milkman, to broadcasting, whatever. All of it is run on these energies. What is going to birth through behaving like this?
Well, this is it. I mean, if we all take responsibility for that, and we're all showing up in this way, for me, there's a lot of talk about this wave of energy, of this light that's coming into the planet at the moment. But I feel like we're the receptors, so we're also then bouncing that back out and creating another wave that's then affecting us and the people around us and our communities. And I'm really finding, I've been traveling a lot for the last couple of years, and I've landed in Glastonbury, and there's a real sense of community here, and I'm really enjoying that. And so it's like this again, like ripples out into the physical, the digital. It's all multi-dimensional for me, and I just really feel that. But it comes down to each of us. So it is about being that change we want to see in the world. As cliched as that statement may feel, it's truth.
But I don't know that it is cliched. I think we've just heard it a lot.
Yeah.
But if a truth is a truth, you don't need to justify it. It's the truth.
Yes.
And that is the truth. And we all have a choice. And it's remembering that we have that choice to align with our hearts and with a light force that's greater than us, but wants to animate us. And as you say, we bring it through onto the planet. We are here on behalf of all the souls that are currently not incarnated. We have the baton of physical embodiment, and therefore it's our task to bring that through in the purest, clearest, and pretty fun way as well. Let's not forget the fun, Casey. And there's a lot of fun in your book, and I know that you like to use humor and a dappling of emoticons and GIFs, I think, as well. And oh my gosh, so much. I'd really highly recommend everybody who is using social media to read your book. It's not long, but it is jam-packed, and you can dive in and out of it. I mean, chapter 1 is social media, the vortex of doom. I mean, it does sort you out. It does go, oi, I know what you're thinking. It can be difficult, but if you approach from these angles. So just before we finish, is there anything particular that you would like to say to listeners and viewers around how they approach social media now, how they can really make it work for them?
Yeah, I think what's kind of coming through is a lot of what we've just discussed, but this making it play, making it fun. Mm-hmm. How can you use it as a tool to express your creativity and share what's really happening in the real world, rather than getting caught up in what you think you have to do? Actually, how can you just create a consistent practice of sharing what you're passionate about? And if you're using social media for your business or as a platform because you want to spread awareness for something, again, like, how can you make that fun for you and enjoyable for you, so that it becomes enjoyable for the people receiving that on the other side? Because this is your light, this is your love, this is your information, and so we want that to be passed on and get out into the world. And it can reach so far when it has that energy, when it has that chi behind it. So yeah, really enjoy that process. And when the social media vortex of doom, when those feelings of overwhelm or frustration, have some time off, like turn the phone off, switch airplane mode on, get out into nature and build your energy back up so that you can approach it with a different vibe.
Really wise words. Oh, Katie, thank you so much for being part of Tea Time and sharing your wisdom and wit with us indeed. How can people find out more about you and this wonderful book?
Well, I mean, I'm most active on Instagram. So for people that want to find me, ktk._social media angel. I've also got a Facebook group that I've just created for the book, which is facebook.com/groups/social media for a new age. So I'd say between those two spaces, they're the best place to find me and me sharing about this work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Got me tea.
Yeah.
Now you have chosen a track to play, listeners, now, haven't you? Could you introduce it for us and tell us why you've chosen this, please?
Yeah, with pleasure. I'd forgotten about this. This is a track called Treasure, and it's by a dance outfit called Above and Beyond. I used to drive them to gigs when I was working in the music industry. And they're phenomenal, they're amazing. And this song really spoke to me because I write about a strategy of love. And the lyrics in this world are about how we measure units of love. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Well, thank you for choosing that bit of treasure to share with us, Katie. I do look forward to more chats with you at some point in the future, but wish you all the best with this book. You know, it's brilliant it's getting out there, it's so timely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's listen to some Treasure. Keep your chi up, my friends. Back with you soon.
Treasure is measured